How to train your inner voice to work for you. Les Brown. How do you talk to yourself when no one's listening? It's a simple question, yet one that holds the key to everything you dream of becoming, achieving, and experiencing. The inner voice, that ever-present dialogue echoing in the mind, can either be your greatest ally or your fiercest enemy. It can build you up or tear you down, propel you forward or sabotage every step you take. Les Brown, the legendary speaker who inspired millions to rise above their circumstances, understood this truth better than most. He didn't just speak from theory, he lived it. Born into poverty, abandoned as a child, labeled educably mentally retarded by his school teachers, Les Brown could have believed the labels, settled for the shadows, and lived a small, bitter life. But he didn't. Instead, he learned how to change the most powerful story of all, the one he was telling himself. And by doing so, he rewired his destiny. This article is about that same transformation. It's about training your inner voice to work for you, not against you. Because once you master that voice, there is no limit to what you can create, contribute, or become. The inner voice, the most influential speaker in your life. Your inner voice is not neutral. It's not passive. It's not silent. It's speaking right now, right this second. And whether you're aware of it or not, it's shaping your perception of who you are and what you're capable of. Every time you think, I'm not ready, I don't have what it takes, or what if I fail, your inner voice is at work. It's coaching you, but not always in your favor. For entrepreneurs, business owners, and investors, this voice plays a massive role in decision-making. It shows up in moments of risk, of failure, of ambition, and uncertainty. It influences whether you take the next leap or retreat into fear. And if left untrained, it can limit your growth more than the market, the economy, or any competitor ever could. So here's the first truth. Your success isn't determined by the voice of others. It's shaped by the voice within. Where it all begins, the programming of the mind. No one is born with a self-defeating inner voice. It is shaped over time, by words, by environments, by authority figures, and by repeated patterns of thought. When you grow up hearing that you're not good enough, not smart enough, or that success is reserved for other people, those beliefs don't just fade, they imprint. That imprint becomes your default script. And unless challenged, you keep living it, over and over again. Les Brown teaches us that we must take responsibility for reprogramming that voice, not through wishful thinking, but through conscious repetition of a new narrative, through input, through discipline, through belief that, no matter where you start, you have the power to write a new chapter. But before we reprogram, we must become aware. Ask yourself, what does my inner voice sound like when I fail? What does it say when I win? When I look in the mirror, do I feel empowered or diminished? If the answers are filled with criticism, sarcasm, self-doubt, or guilt, it's time to upgrade the software. The war within. Why your inner voice sabotages you. There's a reason it's so hard to silence the negative voice inside. That voice is wired for survival, not success. It evolved to protect you, not to empower you. It whispers doubts to avoid pain. It focuses on limits to minimize risk. It clings to the familiar even if the familiar is failure. And here's the irony. Your inner voice isn't always your true voice. Many times, it's an echo of someone else's fear. Your parents, your teachers, your old boss, society. But because it's in your head, it feels like your own. That's why it's dangerous. That's why it must be retrained. Think of it like this. You are the commander. Your inner voice is your soldier. But if the soldier's been listening to the enemy, your doubt, your past, your failures, then it's time to take command again. Step 1. Identify the toxic narratives. You can't train what you won't confront. Take out a journal and write down the most common phrases your inner voice says during a financial setback, a failed pitch, a missed opportunity, a new idea, a risk that scares youth, and ask yourself, would I say these things to someone I love? If not, why say them to yourself? Les Brown says, don't let someone else's opinion become your reality. But many of us do every single day. The first step to training your inner voice is realizing that most of your thoughts are not facts. They are suggestions, possibilities, echoes. And you don't have to accept them. You can challenge them, replace them, rewrite them. Step 2. Feed the voice you want to grow. Your inner voice is a reflection of your input. Trash in, trash out, wisdom in, power out. What are you reading? Who are you listening to? What podcasts, Books, voices, conversations, and environments are shaping your mind. If you want to train your inner voice to become a coach instead of a critic, you must immerse yourself in content that reflects who you want to become. Not once a week, every single day. Listen to Les Brown in the morning. Read a page from a book that empowers you. Write affirmations based on the future you want, not the past you fear. Speak your goals aloud. Rehearse your future in your own words. Because the more you hear the right words, the more your brain begins to accept them as truth. Step 3. Use the mirror technique. Les Brown often talks about mirror work. It may feel silly at first, but it's one of the most powerful tools you can use to rewire your identity. Here's how it works. Every morning, look yourself in the mirror, eye to eye, and say, I believe in me. I have greatness within me. I am prepared for this moment. I'm not who I used to be. I'm becoming who I was meant to be. Say it until your body believes it. Say it through the discomfort. Say it louder than the voice of your past. Why the mirror? Because when you look yourself in the eye and speak life, you create alignment. Your thoughts, your body, your identity, they begin to sync. This rewiring won't happen overnight, but day by day, word by word, you are planting new seeds. And those seeds become belief, and belief becomes destiny. Step 4. Train through action. The inner voice responds most powerfully to evidence. You can speak all the affirmations in the world, but if you don't act, the voice won't change. Les Brown teaches that confidence is not something you wait for. You build it by doing the thing you're afraid of, by keeping your promises to yourself, by showing up. Every time you take action, even small action, you create a reference point for power. You're telling your inner voice, see, I can do this. And next time, that voice will be just a little louder, a little braver, a little stronger, because now it has proof. So act even when you're scared, especially when you're scared, because courage is not the absence of fear. It's the training of your voice to speak louder than the fear. Step 5. Create a personal victory loop. Entrepreneurs and investors often think in terms of ROI, return on investment. Well, here's another ROI, return on identity. You invest in yourself. You take a bold step. You win even just a small win. You celebrate. You reflect. You tell yourself, I did that. That moment, that conscious celebration is when your inner voice rewires. Too many people skip this. They move from goal to goal without ever pausing to acknowledge the growth, the strength, the belief it took. Celebrate your wins. Replay them. Talk to yourself about them. Because every time you do, you're building a memory bank your inner voice will draw from during future battles. This is your victory loop, the power of it's possible. If there's one phrase Les Brown made famous, it's this: it's possible. Not it's guaranteed. Not it's easy. Not it's instant. Just possible. And possibility is all your inner voice needs to begin shifting. Because when something feels possible, your mind expands, your spirit awakens, your energy shifts from defense to offense, from avoid to attempt, from retreat to reach, from fear to faith. Start telling yourself, it's possible. Say it in the morning. Say it in the mirror. Say it when the world says no. Because once your inner voice believes something is possible, you've already won half the battle. Conclusions. You are the architect of your inner dialogue. The greatest success stories are not about resources, timing, or luck. They are about identity. They are about belief. They are about the story behind the strategy. And that story is shaped every single day by the voice you train inside. Les Brown didn't become Les Brown because the world gave him permission. He became Les Brown because he gave himself permission to believe, to speak life, to fight for his dream, to rewrite the script. And you can too. Whether you're launching a business, scaling an empire, investing in your future, or simply rebuilding your confidence, it all begins with one decision: to train your inner voice to work for you, not against you. It won't be easy, but it will be worth it. You have greatness within you. Now speak like it, act like it, live like it. Because your inner voice is listening and the world is waiting. If this message spoke to you, do something powerful with it. Subscribe to fuel your growth, comment with the voice you're training, like to support your own transformation, share with someone whose inner voice needs healing today. Let's train the voices that change the world, starting with yours.